Look, everybody knows that the wheels on the financial system are falling apart. They're falling quite literally just off the vehicle. And we talk about it every single day on the channel, so we won't get into all the ins and the outs of the incredible devaluation of fiat currency. It's happening, and it's happened numerous times throughout human history. And so really my number one concern and my number one intention with this channel is firstly for myself and secondly for the viewers to help as many of you as humanly possible, myself included, to get as rich as possible, to grow our savings and our wealth as much as possible right now. Because it is throughout history the number one way to ensure your freedom when we have intentional and drastic devaluations of currencies. So everybody knows that gold and silver, they're smart to own in situations like this. Now, you own physical bullion, gold and silver, as a preservation of wealth, as something outside of the system. But if you want to grow your wealth, that's where gold and silver mining stocks come into play, especially ones that are in the exploration or development stages, because they have that humongous 10, 20, 30x upside during bull markets. And so in this video, I'm going to be talking about number one new gold stock for 2021 with a killer team and an absolutely fantastic setup. So today's video is sponsored by ARIS Gold. Now, everybody knows about Wheaton Precious Metals. They're basically 2 or 3 of the best gold or silver stocks out there. Humongous royalty and streaming company. Now, ARIS Gold is new kid on the block that has a humongous financing deal with Wheaton Precious Metals in an absolutely great setup. So ARIS Gold is traded on the Toronto Stock Exchange as ARIS, and they are traded in the United States on the OTC as ALLXF. So without further ado, let's get right into this video covering ARIS Gold and why it's such a compelling buy. So first things first, it's a compelling buy right now. We've had the 10-year treasury rise over the last while. We've had a dollar move upwards. And as a result, we've had an irrational sell-off in gold and silver miners. The strong hands and the people that understand the macro environment that we're in, which is a total devaluation of currency and a need for negative real rates in order to even make the most basic payments on these global government debts. This is the perfect climate for gold and silver. Now, I've been waiting patiently to add to miners. And as you'll see here on the chart right now, we have a quite big sell-off, which happens tremendously in exploration and development stocks when there is uncertainty and panic in the market. So this is an opportunity right now to buy this stock at a drastic discount of about 35% since we have had this rise in the dollar and in real rates. Number two, and you don't see this one very often, but they have almost an equal market cap versus the amount of cash and secured funding that they have. Part of that is because they have over $100 million from Wheaton Precious Metals, right? Because part of what the streaming business with what Wheaton does is promising projects, companies they think can be very successful. They provide the funding for a royalty and streaming on the ounces of gold produced out of those mines. And so just for a little data on this, they have about a $300 million market cap, and they have about $276 million in cash and secured financings, which is basically something that you never see, where the amount of capital available is basically equal to the market cap. So I'll get into the rest of ARIS Gold team here in a moment, but let's just say they've got a strong financial position and obviously a very unique access to capital to fund the growth. And just to say a little bit more about the team, other than the involvement of Wheaton Precious Metals, is they also have, one of the most original gold companies and one of the names that was a huge success during the last bull market, and that's the historic Gran Colombia Gold, which is a 44% owner in ARIS Gold. So now here's a little bit about the team. Now, before we get into the management, first things first, they have the all-star, dare I say, the gold queen, Mrs. Daniela Camboni, who has worked with Kitco. She's worked now with Stansberry. She's probably the best and most well-known gold and silver and economic interviewer that's out there in the world today. She's on the board of directors, which is very promising because that means, first of all, they've got fantastic connections. And second of all, of course, it means they're going to have fantastic marketing. They're going to have some great creative people at the table to help tell a compelling story. So just a quick gloss over of some of the other team and board of director members. They have Ian Telfer. So he is the former chairman of Gold Corp and also the former chairman of the World Gold Council. If you're unfamiliar, Gold Corp was the company that sold to Newmont for the largest acquisition and merger in the entire industry. Now, the other person that was involved in that deal was David Garofalo. We've had him on the channel. David is chairman and CEO of Marshall's Precious Metals Funds, as well as a chairman of Great Panther Mining. He's the CEO of Gold Royalty Corp with Amir Anani, and he is the former CEO, as I said, of Gold Corp specifically. He was also the director of Anico Eagles. So you've got really a fantastic team. So I could go on and on and on and on about the board and about the management, but as you see here, everything from Gold Corp, we've got Wheaton Precious Metals, we have Endeavor. So you've got a team that really has put together some of the best mining projects and the most successful companies in the world in this space. So last but not least, CEO is the former founder and CEO of both Leah Gold Mining and Endeavor Mining. And he stepped away to focus on Leah Gold is when he left Endeavor. And in early 2020, after he arranged the Leah Gold Mining merger for $2 billion with Equinox, that's when he moved over to ARIS Gold. And obviously, he's anticipating the same types of setup that he had with Endeavor and Leah Gold. So this obviously got a great group of individuals, but more importantly, they're fully funded and they have all the permits necessary. They are looking to expand on their exploration before they continue to move. Now, this is obviously why it's so great that basically their cash and secured financing is equal to market cap, and this is why they've been able to secure so much money from Wheaton Precious Metals, because Wheaton Precious Metals is obviously expecting to have a long-term in a royalty and streaming relationship with them. So as you can see here, I talked a little bit about their finance positions, but now you can see here that they've got about $284 million in cash in funding available. Now, per their agreement with Wheaton Precious Metals, they've got about $110 million in a couple different phases with them to help continually develop this mine. And as you see over here on the right side, the ownership Like I said, Gran Colombia actually owns 44% of the whole project, and it's a pretty tight share structure with the board and management holding about 8.5%. So basically, they're focusing on 2 assets in prime locations. They're in mining-friendly jurisdictions, and they're setting out to modernize and expand the historic Marmato mine in Colombia with exploration upside in Canada. And so here's a fun fact. So the Marmato Gold District has been mined since pre-colonial times. And the gold reserve was actually so significant that Simon Bolivar, he's the revolutionary leader who liberated much of South America from Spanish rule. So he actually used the gold as collateral with British banks to secure funding for the War of Independence against Spain. So all told, the mine produced 24,000 ounces of gold in 2020, and a major expansion is projected to increase production to an average of about 165,000 ounces per year from 2024. And they estimate that now that they're fully funded, they're going to be able to increase that from 24,000 to at least 165 to as much as 200,000 a year. Hence why Wheaton Precious Metals is funding and getting involved in the project. So now that you know more about ARIS Gold, why development and small silver and gold stocks, and I know it sounds shocking, but from 2008 to 2011, First Majestic Silver went from 67 cents to $26.88, which is a 40-fold increase. So $10,000 invested would have turned into an absolutely insane $400K in just about 30 months. And like my friend Steve Penny said in one of his newsletters, that Halley's Comet doesn't come around all that often, but it's the exact same thing with development and exploration and small mining stocks that come around during this bull market and have an incredible chance to absolutely multiply your wealth. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I want to give a special shout out to our sponsor today, which is ARIS Gold. And full disclosure, I'm also an investor in this stock. Now, you can find ARIS in the Canada exchange with ARIS as the ticker symbol, or you can find it in US on the OTC, which is ALLXF. Like I said, I won't bore you with all the details of why gold and why now, right? We talk about on this channel every single solitary day. I believe that physical gold and physical silver is a preservation of wealth, whereas if you get the right gold or silver stocks, like I illustrated the story of First Majestic, where $10,000 invested turned into $400,000 almost overnight, just like that in a couple years. When you get the right ones, gold and silver stocks with the right management, with the right team, with the right professionals, with the right assets, that becomes the wealth building tool. And as we're seeing everything taking place in the world right now, a destruction of the middle class and a destruction of fiat currencies that really kill our purchasing power, what does that leave us with? It leaves us with a pretty simple opportunity. And that opportunity is that we need to increase our purchasing power and we need to increase our wealth. And right now presents a compelling entry point into gold and silver stocks, especially after this recent and quite over-exaggerated sell-off for some incredible buying opportunities. Now, if you enjoyed this video, make sure that you hit the like button on this side right over there or that side right over there to send this out into the YouTube universe for more people to see this video. Comment down below, go gold now. Comment down below, go gold now. And last but not least, be sure to check out ARIS Gold.